And action!
Hello everyone and welcome back to Action Movie Makers Training. Thank you so much for listening in, and I just want to make a quick video on how I did 100 burpees wearing a 10 kilo vest. So I wanted to take you through the steps that I took in order for me to achieve my goals. So the first thing that helped me to achieve my goals is my habit tracker. Yes, so it's a really important tool, and tracker really helped me to commit to achieving my goals and to be accountable, because I treat my habit calendar as a lie detector. So once I commit to something, I cannot divert from it and I have to get through it. Okay, so I committed to doing 10 burpees a day, so increasing 10 a day. So on day 1 I'll do 10, day 2 20, day 3 30, etc, etc. Yeah, so I am a person who takes action now, and you are where your attention is. So these things really help me to kind of get me across the finish line. But before that, what I did do is for about 5 days roughly, I focused on the person that I needed to be in order to achieve 100 burpees wearing a 10 kilo vest in 10 days. Right? So the person I needed to be. So I did not, so the operative word is being. I did not focus on what do I need to do, which is a doing thing. I first focused on who do I need to be. So for me, I needed to be a fit person. I needed to take the identity of a healthy person. I needed to be committed. I need to have self-integrity. I need to have integrity, which is two different things. I needed to be a creative. I need to be a leader. I need to be a visionary. So these are the things that I kind of focused on in order for me to achieve my goal of 100 burpees. Now, once that was solidified, and that took about 4 or 5 days, and that can vary from person to person. That, you know, you could take 1 day, it could take a week, it could take however long. Now, once that was solidified, it makes the challenge a lot easier. So once you take on that identity, it makes whatever challenge you are taking a lot easier. So whether you're doing a challenge to play an instrument, whether you're doing a challenge for diet, whether you're doing a fitness challenge, I mean, whatever challenge you're doing, first of all, focusing on who you need to be in order to achieve the goals really makes it so much easier, and get you to cross the finish line so much easier. So once that was done, I set out to do my burpees. So day 1, 10 burpees, which is fine. Day 2, 20 burpees, which is like, oh, I'm starting to feel this. Day 3, I thought, oh my god, what have I done? This is really tough. How am I going to achieve 100 burpees in the next 7 days? And I then had to do, what I did is then focus on a vision. I had to focus on a vision. So twice a day, I kind of like a meditation, and I focused on the 2 visions. I focused on a short-term vision, and I focused on a long-term vision. So what does short-term vision mean? So for me, the short-term vision was me physically going through the motions of doing the burpees. So yes, so from start to finish. So I would do my stretching and my dynamic stretching exercises first, then I'd focus on me physically doing the burpees. So that was my short-term vision. My long-term vision was not me finishing my goal. My long-term vision was me actually sitting here and talking to you about how I was able to achieve that. So your long-term vision is you imagining you standing on stage talking to your audience about how you were able to achieve your goals, you know? So your long-term vision is not so much achieving your goals, but it's you being able to talk about it and being on stage, and that's beyond your goal. So that vision is beyond your goal, and that vision, I must say, was really paramount to me achieving my goal. So long term. So once I got to like 40, 50, 60, 70, something else kicked in. Yeah. So my old habits started kicking in. So remember what I said about habits? So 95% of what you have or don't have is because of your habits. And you are not your habits, which is something that's really, really important to understand. It's not something that you have done. It is something that you have been conditioned to do. And my conditioning is that every time I get to like 75, 80% of achieving a goal, I taper down, and then I usually quit. And I'll come back to it much, much later in the piece. And I said, you know what? I can't afford for that to happen again. And I could feel my brain, my habit brain talking to me on, I think it was day 7 or 8 about, do you know what? This is really tough. You're almost at the end, but don't worry about it. Just take it easy, relax. Don't even bother doing it. And I had to really fight, and I actually don't like to use the word fight, but I had to allow myself for those brain thoughts, for my habit brain, not to convince me to not accomplish my goals. And the same thing happens when I get work. So when I get work on set, for instance, I'll be training, fit as hell, I get a job, boom, I'll get an injury. So, and if you believe that injuries are kind of emotionally based, so what emotion are you going through that's causing that injury? Then once you realize that, then you can work on the emotional part so that you don't get those injuries. And lo and behold, I think it was on day 7, my back kind of had a twitch. And I went, ooh, I recognized that it was an emotional pain more than a physical pain. Went into the shower, took a cold shower, so I did my breathing, and I kind of breathed it out. And I said, look, it's an emotional thing. I need to just get rid of that emotion for the pain to go away. And so said, so done. That pain kind of went away because I recognized that it was an emotional thing. And for when I do set work as well, because stunt work is not a constant thing. And then when you do get work, you're working with people who work in the industry constantly. So you have to straight away get into that high level performance thing. But to get into the high level performance thing straight away, you have to kind of really a little bit work your way into it again, because you haven't done it for a while, and you got to get back used to being on camera, being on set, etc., etc. So the pressure is there for you to perform like straight away. And people who hire you, they don't really care that you need to work your way back into it, because you've been hired for a job and you need to do the job straight away. But you're working with people who are, they work 10, 12 months a year, and they're constantly used to performing and being in front of camera. So for them, it's no problem. So that pressure sometimes can be really, really tough. Then when you give yourself all that pressure, your body kind of goes into, you know what, you give yourself too much pressure, let me give you a physical ailment to stop you from thinking about the pressure. So in a way, the pain is actually, if you look at pain in a good sense, the pain is actually a way of your body giving you less pressure on your mind. So that's just looking at pain in a positive way. So once I got through that, I got to I just allowed myself to get through it. Remember, I don't use fighting, because fighting kind of determines that it's a struggle. So I allowed myself to get through the next level, and to get through day 7, get through day 8, 9, and once I got there, I knew that 10 would be easy. 10 would be a breeze, and I almost kind of, I wouldn't say breeze through 10, but it wasn't as hard as I thought it would have been. So these are kind of the steps that kind of allowed me to get to doing 100 burpees in 10 days. And that way of thinking you can use for any achievement that you want. Like I said, whether you want to play an instrument, whether you have a certain diet that you want to do, whether you want to have certain fitness goals, whether you have business goals, money goals, all these things, you can kind of use those techniques to achieve the goals that you want. And I'll just get my thing out. So what I've done, since I've done my 100 burpees, what I have done, I've been doing 50 burpees. I gave myself the other mission is to do 50 burpees every single day. So at least 50 burpees. and I've been doing them ever since, and today we're the 23rd, and I did another 50 burpees this morning. So every morning I do my stretching and I do my 50 burpees, and it gets easier as well to do them. And to kind of mix it around, I might do, because I had to pace myself when I was doing the 100. For the 50, I would sometimes pace myself as well. I would do it in 5 sets of 10, or I would do 4 sets of 15, which is 60, or I would do 2 sets for 25, or I would do 1 set of 50 in one go. And the more you do it, the easier it gets, but it's just getting into the habit of doing things. Yeah. So something else quickly that I've noticed also is it is sometimes easier to do habits that are in line with your being, basically. You know, so I've always I've always done physical stuff, and committing to something that's physical kind of is a lot easier. But committing to something that it's not part of your identity is really can be a lot more challenging. So, for instance, for me, making money and talking about money sometimes it's a lot more of a challenge. So my next habit that I'm working on is getting into the habit of being prosperous. So your prosperous consciousness. So increasing that vibration of prosperity consciousness, which doesn't come natural to me. So that's another habit I'm working on, and I'm using the habit calendar to get me to a level where I vibrate really high when it comes to prosperity consciousness. Excellent. So I hope this kind of made sense. I hope you kind of resonated with this. If you have any comments, or if you have any experience, or if you are going to start allowing yourself to do those techniques into achieving goals for whatever you are doing, then please send me a little note in the chat box. And again, if you're listening on YouTube, please click that like and subscribe button, and click on the notification bell as well, so you get notified every time I put a new video out there. So thank you very much again for watching, guys. I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.